You are standing on the surface of Mars. The temperature right now is minus 63 degrees Celsius. That is the average. At night, it drops to minus 125. You cannot breathe. The atmosphere is 95% carbon dioxide. The air pressure is so low that your blood would begin to boil if your suit failed. The ground beneath your boots is laced with a chemical called perchlorate, a compound so reactive it destroys thyroid function and causes the bone marrow to stop producing blood cells. You are standing in poison, and right now above you, the sun is bathing the surface in a level of ultraviolet and cosmic radiation that exceeds anything a human body was built to tolerate. This is not a science fiction scenario. This is the planet Elon Musk wants to send 1 million people to by 2050. And the scientists who study Mars for a living have a very different story to tell. That world I just described, the one trying to kill you in 6 different ways simultaneously, is the world Elon Musk has publicly committed to sending 1 million people to by 2050. He has called it humanity's backup drive, the next great step in human evolution. He says the ticket price will eventually fall to $100,000. His engineering achievements are real. SpaceX made rockets reusable when the entire industry said it was impossible. That matters. But engineering rockets and engineering human survival on Mars are 2 completely different problems. The scientists who study Mars for a living have looked at his plan, problem by problem, and what they found is not encouraging. Let's go through it. Musk has spoken about using underground caves and habitats as radiation shielding on Mars. That is a real partial solution, but it does not solve the journey. On Earth, our atmosphere and magnetic field absorb the worst of what space throws at us. Mars has neither. Its magnetic field collapsed 4 billion years ago. What remains is a thin, cold, toxic shell that blocks almost nothing. NASA's own models predict that on a round-trip Mars mission, astronauts would exceed their lifetime safety limit for radiation-induced cancer before they even land on the planet, not over a career. On a single trip, the European Space Agency's flight surgeon put it plainly. As it stands today, we cannot go to Mars due to radiation. That is not a think piece opinion, that is the current institutional position of the European Space Agency. And the numbers get worse for younger astronauts. A study in the journal Acta Astronautica found that a 20-year-old woman on a Mars mission faces a 1 in 5 chance of developing cancer from radiation alone. Not from an accident, not from a malfunction, from simply being there. The particles responsible are called galactic cosmic rays, high-energy heavy ions moving at a significant fraction of the speed of light. They punch through spacecraft walls, through habitats, through the human body. They break DNA directly. They have been compared to having your cellular instructions sandpapered away, cell by cell, over months and years. There is currently no lightweight shielding that stops them. Lead stops them, but you would need so much lead that no spacecraft could lift it. NASA considers this an unsolved problem. The radiation problem alone has no current solution, and it is only the first. The second problem Musk's plan cannot simply engineer around is the dust. Mars is covered in it, the entire planet, a fine electrically charged layer that gets into everything: spacesuits, airlocks, equipment, and eventually, the air inside any habitat. In 2025, a peer-reviewed study in the journal GeoHealth, authored by researchers from USC, UCLA, NASA Johnson Space Center, and the University of Colorado, catalogued exactly what that dust contains. Perchlorates, chemicals found across the entire Martian surface, at concentrations that on Earth are considered toxic. A few milligrams inhaled exceeds the safe dose limit. On Mars, inhaling a few milligrams is not a worst-case scenario. It is Tuesday. Silica. Nearly half of Martian dust is silica. On Earth, silica causes silicosis, an incurable progressive scarring of the lungs. There is no treatment beyond supportive care. You cannot reverse it. Iron oxides, arsenic, chromium, beryllium, cadmium, all present, all toxic with chronic exposure, all in a dust so fine and electrically charged that it defeats conventional filtration and coats every surface it touches. And then there are the storms. Every few Martian years, dust storms envelop the entire planet. Not for hours, for months. In 2018, NASA's Opportunity rover had survived for 15 years on solar power. One global dust storm buried its panels and it never woke up again. Now imagine that same storm, But your oxygen depends on electricity. Your heating depends on electricity. Your food production depends on electricity. On Mars, a dust storm is not weather, it is a survival event. Before we get to the final problem, the one nobody in the colonization movement wants to talk about, it is worth looking at the scoreboard. Musk predicted humans on Mars by 2024. That did not happen. He predicted cargo ships to Mars by 2022. That did not happen. His track record on Mars-specific timelines is 0 for every publicly stated date. This is not a personal attack. It is a documented pattern. The 2050 colonization goal has not a single independent scientist who considers it realistic at current rates of progress. Missed deadlines can be forgiven. Timelines slip. Technology accelerates in unexpected ways. That is all fair. But what cannot be engineered around, what cannot be patched in the next software update, is biology. There is also the question of the mind. On the Moon, astronauts could always look out the window and see Earth, a giant glowing marble hanging in the void. Home was right there. On Mars, Earth is a dim, nondescript speck, easily lost among the other stars. You have to know where to look. In simulated Mars missions on Earth, crews locked in isolation for just a few months experience sleep disruption, depression, cognitive fatigue, and what researchers call hypokinesis, a state where humans stop initiating activity and begin staring at walls. Now apply that to a real mission. Years, not months, an environment that will kill you in seconds if you step outside without protection. The nearest help is months away by spacecraft and up to 40 minutes away by radio. If something goes wrong on Mars, there is no evacuation. There is no rapid response. Every launch window back to Earth opens once every 26 months. If you miss it, you wait. But here is the problem that makes every other problem irrelevant. The one that no engineer on Earth has even begun to address. What happens to the next generation? A colony is not a colony if it cannot reproduce. Musk's vision requires a self-sustaining civilization. And for a civilization to sustain itself, humans must be able to have children. And those children must be able to grow. Martian gravity is 38% of Earth's. Every living thing on this planet evolved under the constant pull of 1G. Bone density, organ formation, circulatory development, the cardiovascular system. We do not know, we genuinely do not know, whether a human fetus can develop normally in 38% gravity. Biologist Kelly Weinersmith co-authored the book, A City on Mars, after 3 years of research specifically on this question. Her conclusion: we have essentially no data on human reproduction in low-gravity or high-radiation environments. None. We have never tested it, not in animals, not in simulations. We are proposing to send 1 million people to a planet where we do not know if they can have children. And remember the radiation. Galactic cosmic rays do not just damage adult tissue over time. A developing fetus exposed to that bombardment faces a rate of mutation and developmental abnormality that we cannot currently quantify. Because we have never studied it, Mars may allow small groups of heavily shielded adults to survive for limited periods, but it may simply refuse to let us create a second generation. Which means the colony was never going to work, not because of a rocket problem, not because of a funding problem, because Mars may be biologically incompatible with human continuation. A trap, not a frontier. Mars is beautiful, ancient, a world shaped by billions of years of cosmic forces, but the universe did not design it for us. We have sent rovers to Mars, probes, a helicopter. We have taken photographs of sunsets on another world, but we have never sent a child. And the honest answer, from science, right now, is that we do not know if we ever can. If you want to explore the most extreme worlds in our universe, subscribe. Because Mars may not even be the scariest one,